I had a dream where I don't even know which does. I went to buy chocolates and I bought these two chocolates. One was the same exact chocolate, one was bigger, one was smaller. And I went home and then. So now we're walking on this mountain section. As we're walking, I see three men, right? I already know this is dangerous, it's about to go down. So these three men look dangerous, and mind you, I'm wearing a dress and I'm with girls. So I think to myself, I can just tell that the vibes here are not correct. I'm like, Lord, let your angels protect us. I literally pray in my mind as these three, because I actually think they pointed a gun at us as we're walking up.
Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Saint Hope and thank you for clicking on today's video. Today we are talking about dreams and specifically the department of remembering your dreams. Now, I'm no expert. Let's preface this by saying I'm not a minister. I am just a girly who's experienced some things and would love to help you guys as well. And I guess if you're somebody that knows the importance of dreams, and you're looking to actually start remembering your dreams, this video is going to be perfect for you. If you watch my videos, you know that I mention my dreams a lot. Like I primarily interact with the spirit realm through dreams, and so for me it's like crucial. Like I don't play about my dreams, and I think I've mentioned this before. So if you're like me but you haven't figured it out yet, that how to remember your dreams, then I hope this video will help you. These are things that I've kind of learned over 2 years of taking my dreams seriously. I naturally grew up dreaming. Like I always used to have dreams, and I always used to remember my dreams, but I am more meticulous and more accurate with it now as I've grown in the spirit, as I've grown in my walk with God. So let's get into this video. Now I have my little piece of paper with all my notes of everything I want to tell you guys. We are going to cover 8 points that are going to help you on how to remember your dreams. The first thing is you need to desire to remember your dreams. It's not going to magically happen. If you don't want to remember your dreams, you're not going to remember them. And if you don't put effort and have that deep desire to want to remember your dreams, it's not going to happen. So the first thing I personally would present to you is please have that hunger, have that desire, have that thing of, I need to remember my dreams. And for me personally, growing up, I didn't have that. Like I didn't find dreams important, but as I've like gone through like teachings and spiritual growth, it feels like a must now. Like I can't wake up, go about my day if I didn't remember my dream from last night. You get what I mean? So that's what I mean by desire. It's not something that you're like every once in a while you're like, oh, what did I dream about? It's something that every single day you need to be like, what did I dream about? Okay, so that's the first thing, desire. Number 2 is to prepare to remember your dreams. Now, what does that mean? To prepare to remember your dreams is basically to set yourself up to remember. Okay, now me personally, I always sleep with my phone next to me. My mom hates it. Not a good idea. Please don't do it. I sleep with my phone next to me on airplane mode, so it's a bit, a little bit better. And I always have my notes app open. And sometimes I'll even go to the extent of writing the date. So when I'm going to bed, I'll have the date so that as soon as I wake up, I'm not unlocking my phone, trying to write the date, trying to write the time that I'm waking up, no, everything is set up. As soon as I wake up, I unlock my phone with my thumbprint and I start writing what I saw. So that's what I mean to prepare. You don't have to use your phone. Have a notebook next to your bed. Have something. Have that thing of, I woke up with the intention to remember my dream. And when you wake up with the intention to remember your dream, but you didn't remember your dream, there's a void. And now your spirit and your soul will want to start filling that void over time, and you'll start remembering your dreams. I personally feel like this one has been like the number one thing. If I don't prepare to remember my dreams, I don't. You get what I'm saying? So don't take number 2 lightly. Number 3, ask to remember. Now, when I say ask to remember, yes, ask to remember your dreams when you go to bed. But another thing is when you wake up and you realize that you haven't remembered, still ask. Don't be like, well, it's too late. I'm already awake. What can I do now? You can still ask the Holy Spirit. There's been countless times where I've woken up completely blank and I'll just be like, not gonna panic. Holy Spirit, throughout the day, bring it to my memory. And He does. He's faithful. I promise you, the Lord is faithful to answer that desire. It goes back to point number 1. Have the desire, and the Lord will fill that desire. Number 4 is to pray in the Spirit. Now, sometimes you wake up, you have no clue what you dreamt about, but you still want to remember. I personally would advise you, before you say, good morning, Lord, start praying in tongues, okay? So immediately start praying in intense tongues. I realize that when I pray in tongues, when I've just woken up, it's like I'm going back into the Spirit, right? So then the dream will now come as a vision. It will come to me like as I'm praying. And it works, I think, 95% of the time. I promise you. Test me on this one. Test me on this one because it has been tried, tested, and approved. I've done it countless times. It works, okay? Then, number 5, I think, is glimpses and zooming in on thoughts. Now, glimpses, what I mean by glimpses is that sometimes you will remember just like a small part of that dream. And what you're going to do with that is that you're going to pause and zoom in on it. This one kind of ties in with the one where I said that you should ask the Holy Spirit. So when you ask the Holy Spirit, He will give you a glimpse or something. Like when you're going about your day, He'll just bring it to you. And sometimes what happens is that I'll have a small flashback. And what I do is that I pause, whatever I'm doing, doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'll stop and I'll zoom in on it. Once you start zooming in on that thought, it opens up the entire dream, right? And it comes as a vision. So that's a little trick, I guess, that you can do that I personally have found really, really helpful is when you have that quick flashback, that memory, grab it and zoom in on it. I don't know if that's making sense. I feel like it won't make sense until you experience it. If it makes sense, I pray it makes sense. It makes sense to me. I pray that it makes sense to you too. Second last one is muscle memory or bed memories, like memory from being in bed. Now this one, I've realized that this one works well a few minutes after you've woken up or like a few hours after you've woken up, because there's times where I've forgotten my dream. I'll go about my day, do 1 or 2 things, and then I'll come back. Because one thing about me, I love to sleep, guys. So I'll like take a nap like during the day, but I'll come back into bed in the same position that I woke up. And for some reason, it triggers the dream again. So then I remember that as I was laying in this position, this happened. So I don't know what the science behind that is, but it works, guys. If you are able to do that, please try it. Somebody needs to tell me if this has ever happened to them as well, but it works. It's worked for me multiple times. And usually it comes in the form of the glimpses that I was speaking about. So the glimpse will come, and like I said, I grab it and I zoom in on it, and then the whole dream comes as it was supposed to come, right? So I don't know if that one also makes sense. I don't know what we can call it, like muscle memory or bed memory. I don't know. But it's that concept of, I know that this is where I receive dreams. So when I go there, it's like I'm quick to go back into that realm because that's where I dream from. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, that's that. And then the last tip that I have for you guys is write down the last thing that you saw. Now, I've already told you guys the importance of writing down your dreams. I cannot stress it enough. Even if you just remember one word, even if you just remember how you felt, maybe you don't even remember anything that happened, but you remember that you felt uncomfortable when you woke up. You're like, what did I dream about? Quickly start typing it. One thing I've realized is that when I remember the last sentence or the last thing I heard or the last thing I saw, everything starts downloading. Like it literally unfolds and unravels. So if I can give an example, I recently had a dream where the last thing I heard was the wages of sin is death. And then I woke up, the first thing I wrote in my notes was the wages of sin is death. And then I remembered the setting that I heard that. I remembered who said it. Then I started remembering how I ended up there. You get what I mean? So it's like I'm unwrapping the dream backwards instead of remembering the dream chronologically. But these are my 8 tips for remembering dreams. I hope they made sense. I realized that they're a bit niche. So if you're like, girl, you're confusing me. My main thing, or my main thing that I want you to take away from this is please just have a desire to remember your dreams. I think we don't take dreams as seriously because everybody dreams. It's one of those spiritual gifts where it's like, it's not fancy. Like, okay, you're going to sleep and you're seeing things. Okay, cool. Like, it's not as cool as seeing a vision. It's not as cool as being in a trance. It's not as cool as teleporting, right? So people don't take it as seriously, and they don't realize that the things that are happening in their dreams are actually determining how their life is turning out, right? Like I said, if there's just one thing you take away from this video, is just have a desire to remember your dreams. And I firmly believe that if you clicked on this video, you have a desire to remember your dreams. I do hope that the things that I gave to you in this video will help you, or have helped you at least just a little bit. Just a little bit, to make things easier. I don't think I've said anything that's like mind-boggling. Maybe the muscle memory one was a bit weird, but for the most part, it's practical things, right? One piece of advice: don't stress about interpretation. 90% of the time, interpretation takes a while and it unfolds over a period of time. So when you wake up, don't be discouraged by not being able to interpret, and then that's going to stop you from like remembering your dreams, because you're more worried about interpreting instead of worrying about remembering. I promise you, I have like a thick folder in my notes full of dreams, and half of them I've never interpreted, and that's okay. But just being able to remember your dreams, one day something will happen and you'll be like, oh my goodness, like this is connected to that dream, and it might happen a year from now. So rather focus on remembering than trying to interpret. Don't let that distract you from remembering your dreams. All right, I hope you got something from this video, and I will see you in the next one.